Four Sports is back, Wins Above Replacement podcast. We've had a full 24 hours to kind of digest things since the Super Bowl wound down, and it's officially the NFL offseason. This is Ben and DM. Just like every week that we get together, and I think the most if you're tuning into this podcast, you're probably a big enough sports fan that you know what happened in the Super Bowl as far as the score and some of the things and the trends and whatnot. But kind of a couple of things we wanted to touch on that we felt maybe would be advantageous and just something to discuss as far as just the next level of just what else did we notice maybe, or did some other people notice or bring to the forefront of the game itself, and then kind of the game after the game. So Dion, I think to me, if you don't mind, I'll get quick started. The one thing that was most noticeable was the Chiefs only got field goals out of the whole entire every drive that they got down there. No touchdowns scored, which is for the Chiefs. I don't even know if that's been this year. I can't think of a game.
Since 2017 was the last time they didn't score a touchdown.
Wow, that's Alex Smith, right? I mean, he was still probably the starter then.
Yep.
That's an Andy Reid offense. So an Andy Reid offense has never been held without a touchdown for, let's say this 3 full seasons. That's 45 plus games. That's crazy to think about.
It is pretty remarkable considering, how explosive they've been going into last year and in through this year, winning 25 of 26 starts with Patrick Mahomes, and just how sharp they've looked and how explosive, we felt, they can score any time they touch the ball, and really the way they felt too. I mean, it's remarkable. I'm telling you. I mean, I don't think we truly are appreciating how well Tampa's defense played last night. I mean, I think, just look at I think a lot of people overshadow things with some of the penalties. Obviously, like I said, there was 4 that I could think of that were led to first downs, and one on an interception, as a matter of fact, even 2. And it's like, besides the fact, I mean, like I said, I just can't believe how good Tampa's defense came out and played.
It really reminded me of, and being a Patriots fan, I hate to say this, but that second Giants. I mean, the first Giants Super Bowl when they beat the Tom Brady,
right?
You didn't expect it because it was, the 50 touchdowns and the Randy Moss, and that was just a true gut punch. But that second, that second time, it was the same kind of recipe, though. Tom Coughlin went in there, really good tight game plan. JPP, Justin Tuck, those guys, and Brady lost that game, so he knew what it was like to be a pretty good offense on the other side and be overpowered and knocked off your spot. So I wonder if that kind of played it into anything. Maybe I'm looking too far into it.
Well,
but
one thing I kind of wonder, I'm kind of curious about is, we sit here and we talked to Cam on Saturday about what he thought about the game, and he suggested, look at all Tampa's losses, and they got beat with screen passes and teams that run the ball, and use their aggressiveness against them to, you want to soften up that secondary. And it's weird because we look at this and we see, is this something where almost like a cockiness, like a Bieniemy and Andy Reid and them come out and say, you know what, hey, we know what we got. They could do whatever the hell they want, and we can't be stopped. And it's just, it's like that where you're like, I don't care, we're going to do what we do. And I was surprised I didn't see more of that, more of them try. I mean, they did try to run the ball here and there, and Hilaire was effective. Darrell Williams came in and had some nice runs too, but then they got behind by a couple scores, and I don't want to say getting the panic time, but you can start for, okay, now we got to score. We got to answer here soon. And he's never got a chance to get a consistent run game going, which it's never been their thing anyway. But like I said, I wonder what you think. Is it something where you're just like, hey, I know how good we are and we can do anything we want? And is that what it is? What do you think?
Part of me was definitely, I have multi-tiered levels of how my brain operates. Last night I think they mentioned that maybe Lavonte David or White's cousin is Jacandrick West, that used to play for the Chiefs up until last year. He was on the Super Bowl winning team last year. Right. So, how much do cousins talk after the fact? You know what I mean? How much did he fill them in? Like, hey, this is a tell. If you hear this, this is what this usually means.
That's true.
I mean, who knows? I don't know, but I can't help but think that if you and I were on different teams, or I was on an old team and I was facing someone, I'm not calling you on the phone and I'm saying, hey man, this is what I noticed. Here's all the film. This is what I know. They cut me, so I ain't got no loyalty at this point.
Right.
But
maybe it'll help, maybe it won't, but here you go. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I think that could be a little bit of it. Again, I think there was two. I mean, it could be two levels. I get exactly what you're saying on the one side. Did Andy Reid, who calls the plays, just say, hey, we're going to do what we do, our strength, and we're not going to back down, and we're not going to play the game that they're letting us play. We're going to impose ourselves on them, or we're going to die trying. I got that piece. Or, I mean, the other part of me, and this is where my heart really is lying, were they in it to be able to get to make adjustments? Did they have it, the brain, the capacity after the long week, the COVID stuff, the Andy Reid's son? I mean, how much do you think Bieniemy was in that huddle on the sideline saying, hey, yo, Coach Reid, man, let's try something let's try. I was the running backs coach, man. Maybe let's try some screens. Maybe let's dip into the bag a little bit. And maybe Andy just didn't have it. I mean, it just felt like he looked exhausted. They played exhausted, and I don't know why, because they should have been fresh. And again, that's where my heart goes.
Yeah, and like I said, I mean, it was a whole different. And like I said, I just felt like something was off with them all year, and I don't know exactly what that was. I can't put my finger on what exactly it was, because they would still win. They would still get the win. They weren't as pretty as they should have been. They lost to the Raiders. They
should have lost twice to the Raiders.
They should have lost both times, Raiders. Absolutely. And it's like, I just they didn't seem as exposed. But I saw a level of frustration last night on Patrick Mahomes' face, on Kelsey's face, on, you see it from Tyrann Mathieu and Tyreek Hill. They're both fire, get into it with other players and whatnot a lot. But I just saw a different level of frustration that I had never seen, that, Mahomes, almost getting in with the refs, and I'm just like, it was crazy just to see how shook they had him. I mean, and just how dominant of a defensive performance that was. I read this, I never seen Mahomes on the run so much like that, and more of a run without purpose. Like, usually he'll run and he'll spin out right or left to get away. He knows there's an open space and he can set his feet, or even no need to set his feet, at least have a clear pocket to throw. Yesterday, he was just like, he was running and didn't know where he was going or where he was trying to get to. He was just, and I was reading this thing that he had 497 yards last night.
Oh yeah, backwards. I heard that. Yeah, next gen stats.
Stats. I was like, I couldn't believe that.
That's a whole 2 games worth of offense for some teams. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, on a turf toe.
Yeah, on a turf toe. Yeah, absolutely. So I tell you, I just and again, maybe this is the blueprint, to beat Kansas City. It's hard to say. And like I said, the thing is, it doesn't really matter, because not a lot of teams have that kind of defense, the personnel to do that. I mean, you're talking about Ndamukong Suh and Pierre Paul and Shaq Barrett and, Devin White and Levante David. And I mean, that's just, that defense went under the radar quite a bit this year. I was one person who didn't buy into him a whole lot. Coming from fantasy side, we would always try to stay, you always try to stay away from players that were playing in Tampa, and they didn't really fear me. I didn't really fear him as much. But hey, I had a whole new respect for him after yesterday, because that was a dominant performance, man.
I mean, I think that part of it that we overlook is that the defense pretty much dragged Jameis Winston last year to a 7-9 record. It was a custom-built team for a leader and a quarterback to come in and say, I'm not going to throw 30 picks and all kinds of pick sixes, and I'm not going to kill drives and put my defense on that back burner where they're going to get, tested every single drive from the offense on the other side to wear them down. And Brady came in and he played within that system, but he also added a lot of leadership.
Exactly. He had some zip on some of them balls yesterday, man. I tell you what, there was a couple throws, that he made. I was like, damn, man, this dude, how old is this guy again? Like, he put some zip on some passes yesterday.
It's like some Nolan Ryan type of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think that his age is going to come in some of that mobility, but they're so good at keeping the pocket clean. He's so good at getting rid of the ball. I mean, I can see him playing another year or two, especially if they're winning.
Absolutely.
It may take an injury to get him off the field, honestly.
And you know what? That's kind of what it seems like it comes to with the older quarterbacks. Like, they get something that, and then, they just don't heal as good, and just something where they're just totally not the same anymore. And then that's been, people say what they want about Brady. He feels contact and he goes down. You say whatever you want, but hey, obviously it must have worked, and it's helped him, stay healthy, because he hasn't had that real big injury, late in his career. That's something that you're like, ooh, it's gonna be tough to come back from, So I could see at least 2 more years.
Yeah, and I think we'll wrap it up here in a minute. I mean, we definitely touched on a lot of things some
Yeah.
unfortunate side effects of yesterday. The media coverage of Mahomes' mom and his girlfriend or wife really kind of pouting and whining online, starting some trouble. Not a good look. I mean, no one was coming to anybody else's defense when he was throwing 56 touchdowns on all of these other secondaries and breaking records and getting MVPs, right? Everybody's celebrating then, but you want to get online and pout. And I hope they figure that out. I mean, that's just part of being an NFL quarterback and being part
Well,
of the club.
it's 2021 now. It's the social media era. It's the Twitter, it's Snapchat, the Instagram. Everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a voice. Everybody's going to be heard.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. So it's but like I said, that's why they got to have like. I'm curious. I bet you the NFL and all these leagues have classes on stuff about, hey, don't
social
do it,
media coach something. If you don't have a social media coach, man, call us up. We'll come by you and just say,
we'll come by. Yeah, exactly.
Put my hand and block the screen. Yeah.
It's just sometimes you got to just pipe it down and just not, but it's hard not.
It just takes away from the game and it just takes away. It's just puts too much pressure on Patrick and the other family. I mean, it's just. I get it, but I also, you just got, it's the NFL now. I mean, he signed a $500 million contract. If people ain't going to hurt you, then whatever the announcers say or whatever anybody else says, hey man, you signed up for a little, you signed up for criticism, basic criticism. You didn't get signed up to be harassed or called names or racist things or whatever. But, if you're complaining about ESPN, showing Patrick Mahomes looks sad on the sideline, that's what happens when you lose.
It comes with the territory. You got, like I said, they didn't say that when they were showing him cheering after every touchdown pass last year or anything he did last year. But so that's just comes with the territory. But that brings me to my next little question about Mahomes as far as his legacy that he's starting to build here. Obviously, he's young, and I'm kind of curious to see where he goes from here because, you have other young guys. You have Russell Wilson, first few years into the league, gets a couple Super Bowl runs. Ben Roethlisberger comes in, goes to a couple Super Bowls. And then from then on, it's like both those teams kind of, I'm not saying they're bad teams, but they haven't been what they were when they first came in. And a lot of it has to do with it because that contract, when you sign that contract, now all of a sudden you can't afford this guy. Now we know Patrick Mahomes did a great job of the way they structured his contract to where it seems like they're going to be able to afford to keep a lot of his weapons.
Like that Mike Trout kind of a deal.
Absolutely, So, but my question is more on the on-field stuff, and you look back into last year's Super Bowl, they won it, but he wasn't exactly lights out. He wasn't the Patrick Mahomes that was dominating teams and now you go back to this Super Bowl here. So I mean. It's kind of what do you want to say he's a bad player? Obviously not, but it's like, hey, these are the biggest of the games here, the biggest they're going to get. And that's two games that he hasn't exactly looked as sharp. I mean, I know Big Ben, his first year when he went to the Super Bowl, it was a lot of, hey, he didn't do nothing. He threw 123 yards in the Super Bowl against the Seahawks. And so that one against Arizona, that was really one that he needed for him on that 2-minute drive to drive down the field and win it. Yeah. That was something that he needed. And like I said, I mean, but Mahomes, what can you say? I mean, what do you got to say about that? What do you think?
I think there is something to that second contract, right? The rookie deal gets you so far because you could build a lot of talent around. I think Russell Wilson is a definitely good pivot point to kind of look at and to see their career arcs maybe take us. The one thing I don't realize until yesterday, probably about midway through the third quarter, is, are the Chiefs Patrick Mahomes kind of like how the Colts were Peyton Manning, right? Like he was breaking records. He was a really good passer. He was good enough to get to the playoffs, but was he enough to win those games by himself? No. Right. But when I was watching the game, right, you take Kelce off the field, and then what else? Who else is there on the entire team?
Absolutely.
I mean, Tyreek Hill's an all-pro because of stats. I'm not sure he's an all-pro because of talent. He's not Megatron. Right. He's not one of these take a game over type of players unless the scheme is allowing him to do so.
Absolutely.
But you take Kelce off the field because Kelce was a grown man. You can't. There's no ifs and ands about it. Kelce on any team is a grown man, all-pro. Anywhere, any era he plays in, he's a grown man and he's going to get his. But you take Patrick Mahomes off the team. what are you left with, right? I mean, it's a shell of a team.
It is.
And that's just, and I didn't notice, and everybody talked about, this and that. The Buccaneers were clearly the more talented team on both sides of the ball.
Definitely.
And I just couldn't help but notice maybe we don't give the Chiefs enough credit for getting this far with no talent. Maybe not. Maybe we overlooked it. I don't know. But
I mean, look at their division. I mean, you look at the division, you got the Denver Broncos, who are still trying to find themselves, find their next quarterback. They don't know what they're doing. You got the Raiders, who same thing. They brought in Gruden. They brought, they're just trying to get things going there, but they still don't know what they're got. What they moved to Vegas. They're trying to figure out what themselves. The Chargers, they went on from Rivers to Justin Herbert this year, and yeah, he just has nothing to work with, right? I mean, so you're talking 6 wins right there. That 6 games that are I don't want to say gimmies, but you're not playing against the greatest of talent on it, to be honest with you, So
this is what we're going to find. This is Patrick Mahomes, where he stacks up right now in today's NFL. And this is kind of a good segue to our next segment here in a minute. But, and I'm not even going to answer the question. I'm going to put it on you. For the last 12 years, if a key free agent or veteran became a free agent later in their career, what was the one team everybody said they're going to go to first, even if they didn't go there? Every single veteran that ever came on the market.
Oh, the Patriots, yeah.
Right. So, and that was because of Brady, because of Belichick, because you always win, you get a chance for a ring. Brady got Fournette to come in, Gronk out of retirement, got AB to come in, and he solidified his offense, and he didn't touch the defense. He didn't need to attract any free agents. You'll see where the comparison is of where Russell Wilson is, where Patrick Mahomes is, and then all the people that respect Tom Brady, they're going to start, we need another corner. Okay, cool. Maybe Joe Hayden. Maybe he's going to be cheap. Maybe we bring him down. We add another nickel back, or another running back comes up, or AB leaves. But let's say one of those, let's say Robinson from the Bears is like, I'm tired of losing, man. I'm gonna sign a cheap deal down in Tampa. I'm gonna go take AB spot.
Exactly.
We'll see where the hierarchy of quarterbacks and winning people think that you have a chance to win is, where those free agents start to go that don't need money and they just want to win. And if they start going to Kansas City, maybe we look at Patrick Mahomes as that guy. But it's already started, and I think it's going to happen again. Gronk already said he's coming back if they'll have him. But they're going to have their pick of whatever free agents they want. If money's not a factor, I mean, obviously someone's going to have to.
If we want to win,
somewhere. Yeah. But we'll see. If money's not a factor, you're choosing this. If tomorrow, if you were a free agent right now, a receiver, a tight end, an offensive lineman, where would you want to go play right now? If winning was it, Kansas City?
Yeah, you go Tampa. They're ready made.
All day. All day.
Absolutely. And another thing on the flip side of that is, you look about you also take a look at what's around the whole in the whole division, in the whole conference, right? AFC, you got Joey Burrows, Justin Herbert, if you want to throw
Lamar.
Baker Mayfield in there, Lamar Jackson. AFC is stacked. So in the NFC, you got really Aaron Rodgers, right? And then who else?
Next tier, you got Stafford's going to make some noise and
Stafford's going to make some noise,
But it's not the tiers are definitely. I mean, Kyler Murray maybe is going to make a little noise. Jimmy Garoppolo,
right.
You brought up that last Super Bowl. I mean, the Chiefs were down by 10 points in the fourth quarter and are one Manny Sanders reception away from losing that game.
No, absolutely. Yeah. You got a 6-win team, made the playoffs, number one, and you had the Buccaneers, who, like I said, were neck and neck with the Saints. That one could have went either way. The 2 seed and the 5 seed.
Breeze is gone. Breeze out of the equation.
Yeah. Exactly. So Breeze is out of the equation now. So I mean, absolutely. So that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious to see what happens.
Yeah, I think that it's going to be interesting. This wasn't the only thing going on this weekend. Before we wrap up here, what was we had a couple of other big announcements. We had the awards, the honors came out. Let's run down that real quick.
All right, so I'll go and run over the first few, and we'll kind of we'll kind of talk. We had the NFL MVP was Aaron Rodgers. Walter Payton Man of the Year was Russell Wilson. And then we had the AP Coach of the Year, Kevin Stefanski. What are your thoughts on those three there? Aaron Rodgers to me was no brainer, right?
Yeah, hard to argue that one. I think the other part of it was, halfway through the season, right? It was almost Russell Wilson's MVP to lose, and he did.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I just think
Right.
he fell out of that, and that's that. We're gonna have that same possibly career arc, and maybe that little bit of a mirror for Patrick Mahomes. We'll see. Maybe it's some foreshadowing, but he just wasn't enough for Seattle.
Right.
I probably said it. I love Aaron Rodgers as the pick. I can't argue it, but I said it multiple times. Davante Adams was just as valuable. I don't know how the votes. I hope he got a couple. I don't know how they went out. I didn't check that out yet, but those two probably could have co-MVP'd the whole thing.
Right. No, absolutely. Those the combination of those two is just unbelievable this year. I mean, Davante Adams was clearly the best receiver in football this year. And like I said, Aaron Rodgers just continues to make it look easy. It seems like it's the NFC Championship game. It just goes to show you you can't help feel for the guy. He's got so much talent, and they just give him nothing to work with, really. I mean, and it's like like you said, drafting Jordan Love. I mean, you a first round draft pick. You're back. You're drafting the guy to take. I don't get it.
I probably would feel a bit more, worse for Aaron Rodgers if he would have ran that third down play or the second down play rather than that. If he would have ran and that you picture that John Elway kind of helicopter in, and I was like, that was his moment, and it was in his hands, it was on his feet, and he passed it up, and he gave it to someone else, that control of that situation. And I'm not sure. I remember there was I think it might have been I don't think it was a playoff game. I know it wasn't a playoff game because it was the Bears, but there was a game where Tom Brady had to run for 10 yards to ice a game, and Urlacher was right in front of him, and it was kind of a big play that year, and he juked him for 11 yards or whatever and iced the game out. And you just got to take that chance.
You got to, especially someone like him that's so close. Then Coach of the Year, Stefanski. I mean, where else?
Yeah, I think maybe Rivera probably got some votes. He probably deserves some for everything he's gone through personally with his health, and 14 quarterbacks that played there, and all those issues, and they made the playoffs. If he would have been 9 and 7,
I agree.
He might have got some votes, but
absolutely,
for the Browns and the curse and all the other stuff that they got to deal with, I can understand where the voters went with that one.
Same here. I don't know, no argument there. I mean, I really don't, see where else we could have went on that. AP Offensive Player of the Year was Derrick Henry.
I mean, you run for 2,000 yards. I mean, what are you going to do?
Exactly. I mean, is that the MVP junior? I don't know. What do you want to? I mean, you never see defensive players win MVP. It's rarely. So I don't know. Derrick Henry, like you said, ran for 2,000 yards. He was unstoppable to a large extent, in a lot of games, so no arguments there.
Stats, and I'm gonna butcher it a little bit, but what was it that he had 1,200 yards after contact, which would have made him like the 5th leading rusher anyway after contact. So
unbelievable, unbelievable year.
He's losing his offensive coordinator this year, so we'll see.
We'll see how that
replace that play call. And
absolutely,
we'll get to our coaches changes here in another video, but it's a pinnacle for those 2 bookend seasons that he had, playoff runs. I mean, he probably should have got more MVP votes last year, but this is not a bad runner-up.
And especially coming in a time where I don't want to say the league is trying to, but just running backs are kind of devalued, right? Le'Veon Bell sat out an entire year trying to make a point that, hey, running backs deserve to be paid higher than what they are. And, he went through his whole ordeal. And even, teams don't want to pay the running backs, I mean, but then there are a few Derrick Henry type running backs in the league, Le'Veon Bell kind of proved that it's more everything's kind of a system type deal, right? Connor came in the first year as a rookie, and he had a heck of a season, and said, hey, you know what? Maybe it wasn't Bell, maybe it was the system. But nobody, they don't want to pay running backs,
I read a tweet from someone. I'd have to look it up maybe if I can even find it, but they kind of, and I thought it was a pretty weak argument, but in some ways it helps the running backs. But it said, Tampa Bay had a top 5 running back coming out of college on their team with Fournette, even though it didn't work out.
Right.
But they made an AFC Championship, run with
With
the Jags.
yeah.
But he had that talent on his team. The Chiefs had a late first round Hilaire talent on their team. Maybe not used quite the same way as Fournette was used, but the talent differential sometimes between a top running back coming out of college and if the way they're used probably is the way the tweet was saying was, talent's talent. At some point, if you were talented, then you had something going for you. Maybe you can turn that around and just being used differently. So
no, that's the truth. So yeah, I mean, props to Derrick Henry. He's one of the last few of the every down back. Sure. Yeah, workhorse. Yeah. So and AP Defensive Player of the Year, Aaron Donald. Can't take nothing away from him. I mean, guy was a beast. I mean, you just look at the as a Steeler fan, what I'd like to see TJ Watt get it. Obviously, he led the league in damn near every category, but that's coming from a linebacker, outside rushing, edge rusher, right? Yeah. And some of those categories, he wasn't very far ahead of Aaron Donald, who's a down lineman.
Interior lineman, yeah.
Interior lineman. It's like you don't see those numbers. So did I want him to win? Obviously, I did. Yeah, but Aaron Donald is a game changer. Like I said, double and triple teamed every snap, still finds a way to make plays, makes everyone around him better. I mean, we've mentioned, Colorado State Pueblo. Morgan Fox had, he set 6 sacks this year?
Yeah.
And, we're talking about a D2 guy and who's made a name. He looks better because of what Aaron Donald brings to the table, So, the guy's just dominant, man. I mean, period. Period.
And there's so many bodies inside it. I mean, I think TJ Watt, you see him playing on the right side and the left side, and he's put in all these positions and speed rusher. He's not really a power guy. He's not a pull you over kind of guy.
Right.
But Donald is, there's a guard and a tackle right in front of him, right?
Yeah.
Or a center and a guard, and then right outside of that's another tackle, and he has to fight through 4 bodies, and then he still makes those plays. And no other tackle that I could think of in recent memory has those kind of plays. I mean, he has more career sacks in a year than maybe some Hall of Fame tackles have in their entire career.
Most definitely. He's a Hall of Famer in the, clear Hall of Famer if he were to retire today even. I mean, he's just unbelievable, the guy,
And what I like about the guy, go ahead.
It's like every year it's just, you think, he's going to drop a lot. He's going to take a big dip. He doesn't. He comes back putting up similar numbers, it's insane.
You know what? And he's about as humble as it gets, man. I'm not sure I've ever seen him complaining about a coach throwing another teammate on. He has a pretty good contract. He's getting paid. He knows what he's worth, but he keeps his nose down. And for all I know is that he works hard. He knows his skills.
Absolutely.
He's a good teammate, and he makes plays. So
he does, absolutely. So yeah, good guy. So
we got comeback player of the year, man. I think that.
Comeback player of the year, Alex Smith. I think that was a clear cut. I mean, I haven't gotten a chance to watch the E60 episode, but a lot of people told me about it, and they said when you watch that episode, you're just gonna be mind blown that the dude even has a leg and that he's even able to walk. Period. Let alone play football at the highest level. So that was no brainer. I mean, unbelievable.
I'll tell you what, too. I'll link it in the video. I'll try to look for it if I can find it. There's a video of his reaction to a lot of players telling him congratulations and welcome back. And Joe Theismann, who had a grotesque leg injury, same day, kind of on the anniversary of this when it happened for Alex Smith. He narrates it and he does a good job. And at the end, Alex Smith's wife talks and says, "Man, we did it." And it's just a powerful video. And to see his face and his some former teammates and Urban Meyer and old coaches and just to kind of say, "Out, man, we knew you were tough, man. We had no idea you were this tough."
And just another humble, respected guy around the league who just, like you said, we've all talked back when he was with the Chiefs. He just couldn't quite get him over the top. And is he that guy that just can't get you over the top, But hey, the guy wins. He's a competitor, and hey, they went on a 4-game win streak this year when he was starting. Yeah. So hey, the dude, man, I tell you, I hope he's got a few more years in him too, still to play at this level and just add to his legacy. It's been a pretty good career. You know,
Hey man, we got to start that petition to make that the Alex Smith Award from now on. You know what I mean? Put
there
his
you
name
go.
on it.
There you go.
Let's
I like
do
that. I like that.
What do we got? Rookie of the Year is coming up too.
Yep. You got defensive rookie of the year. Another, Chase Young, another Washington football team member. You know, dude was solid. I kind of expected a little bit more, and I'm sure he expected a little bit more himself. But hey, you know, he put a stamp on made a name for himself. You know, so I thought he had a great year, honestly.
No, I think he wasn't quite as advertised. I mean, you want this high
Right.
motor, you want this, sack machine coming out, but
Right.
for not a lot of talent on that side of the ball, he probably was double teamed a lot. He was schemed around, but he was still exciting. He was a big, fast kid, and once he gets a little help around him, I think he's going to really just blossom.
Yeah, he definitely made him better. Just him being there. So yeah, no, absolutely. So.
All right.
Offensive rookie of the year, Justin Herbert. That one, I'd like to see if Joey Burrows would have finished the whole season where he could have been. They were both putting up great numbers. But yeah, Justin Herbert. I mean, there was a lot of people. I don't want to say what was putting him in front of Burrows really, but a lot of teams liked him. A lot of people liked him. A lot of people I know liked him. I saw a lot of him at Oregon, and I tell you what, man, the kid can ball. I was really impressed with him.
He was thrown in there too, right? I mean, his first start was like, "Hey, put your cleats on, bro. You got to go start." Like Tyrod's in the hospital. It's like, what do you mean? I barely know the playbook or whatever. But he just came out, and man, dude was slinging BBs, man. Like I didn't even.
Yeah.
He throws on the move. He throws from the pocket. He finds an open player. Keenan is going to be another. I think he's going to turn to all pro form again.
Absolutely.
I think that team is on the rise. They got a new coach coming in. I think Anthony Lynn got a little bit of a raw deal. I like Anthony Lynn. He's a good guy, and he's going to bounce back. But I think that Joe Burrows would have been nice, but Herbert, it's hard to say he don't belong.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Like you said, Anthony Lynn. It was kind of tough, but I think it was a situation where the years before, they finally, like I said, they lost a lot of close games. I mean, I think a lot, like 4 or 5 of their losses were within a touchdown, this year, and it's just part of growing. And I think they just figured, you know what, we got a young quarterback here. Let's make a change. Let's get new, breath in here. Let's see what happens, So we'll see what happens. I think it's going to be good for him though. So the next one, the Deacon Jones Award, which, like I said, with the AP Offensive Player of the Year award, this to me is the Deacon Jones Award is the Defensive Player of the Year runner-up. Is award the way I see it. TJ Watt won that one. Like I said, it was just good for him to get recognized because TJ Watt had an amazing season, man. I mean, I saw it firsthand week in and week out, just how dominant the guy was, and he's a true game changer. With his QB pressures, with his batted balls that he's really starting to get into now, and the sacks, and just his tenacity he plays with. He just plays with a high motor, just always just reminds me so much of his brother, just high energy, high motor guy that's just always going to give you 100% on every play, so.
No, and I think that's my favorite piece. That's my favorite part about TJ Watt is that, it's probably hard to be JJ Watt's brother, right? But he's saying, you know what? Look, I'm my own person, man. I got my own style. I do my own thing. He's a big bruiser. My brother's a big bruiser. I'm a little bit finesse. I'm a little bit speed, but I still get the job done. And I can't help but think, and I'm not. This isn't a personal dig, this, but if it was flip flopped a little bit, and the Rams limped into the playoffs, and the Pittsburgh Steelers got in there on the strength of their defense, just like the Rams did,
right?
And those 2 awards might have been flip flopped, but
it could have been, no, absolutely. Yeah. And like you said, he did it perfectly. Yeah. He's his own guy, and he needs to start being recognized as TJ Watt, not JJ Watt's brother. And he did, just a perfect example of that is in the AP's explanation of the awards. It said, younger brother of JJ Watt, TJ Watt, had an amazing, and it's like that right there. It's like enough of that, So yeah, it's time to put his name to itself now. So
no, I agree.
Now we had a couple other the smaller awards. We had the AP Sportsmanship Award. It was Teddy Bridgewater.
Makes sense.
Not no arguments there. Dude has been a great guy his whole career. AP assistant coach of the year was Bills offensive coordinator Brian Dable. We'll get into that with coaching vacancies and
earned a promotion.
Yep. So hey, he did a phenomenal job. Bringing along, and I'm kind of curious to see the steps that Josh Allen's going to take. Even next year. Like you said, you got to have that taste of defeat and hit that wall, and it came this year. So hopefully we'll see what they do if they build off that and take that next step.
No, I think that's it. I mean, does that wrap it up? Or we got any other ones there?
No, we got the last one. We got the FedEx Air and Ground Players of the Year, which Aaron Rodgers was a FedEx Air and Derrick Henry the ground. Other than that, we've got the celebration of the year was Chase Claypool's touchdown, which was the Juju birthday cake. It was on Juju's birthday, and they did the birthday cake. So, and then the clutch performance was the Hail Mary Murray to Hopkins. Can't argue with that. That play. Still can't believe that
plays of the year. Yeah, I mean, the one celebration I did like was when the Browns and Baker Mayfield came sliding in and did that little pirouette and acted like he was taking the red carpet picture.
That was a good one too. Yeah, there was a lot of good ones.
Yeah,
I would like to see some of the other ones. I really can't remember. I'm trying to jog my memory and think of what's some other good ones. Obviously I saw that one and I watched all the Steelers ones, but that's Juju's thing. Juju's always involved in some kind of TikTok, so for him to win something like that, I guess I could see it. But all in all, it was just a good year, man. I mean, it was just a fun year. As fun as it could be without fans, I guess you could say,
True. Different element, but that brings us to the end of our show, and welcome to the off season, Dion. And
let's
dig in. And our next episode, we're gonna get it up here this week. Is we're gonna talk about the key free agents, and we're gonna talk about some coaching changes, and then if we have enough time, we're gonna touch on the Hall of Fame, kind of the snubs, who got in, who got out, who's getting in next.
Absolutely.
So, stay with us. War Sports, Wins Above Replacement podcast. We'll see y'all later. Peace.